So Priya, it's great to see you almost 6 months after we got started with this journey. For starters, would love to just get a brief introduction, your name, your specialty, and where you currently live.
Sure. So my name is Supriya Jagannath, and I'm an anesthesiologist living in Maryland in the DC Baltimore area.
Um, and so Priya, what did life look like before coaching?
I came from a really tumultuous period in my career after 17 years in private practice, after a very rigorous residency, and suddenly my whole practice fell apart, and I found myself surrounded by a very toxic work environment, and I was very disenchanted with the whole field of medicine completely. So this is what brought me to coaching to begin with,
Yeah,
and I'm so thankful that I found Gail.
yeah, yeah. And in that tumultuous period you talked about feeling disenchanted, from medicine as a whole, how did that make you feel, and what did that prevent you from doing that you wish you could?
I think when there's that feeling of being very downtrodden and really disappointed in your life's work, it's it brings negativity to every part of your life,
Uh,
right? So I felt like not going to work. I felt like any other job I would find would also end up ending negatively. And also you bring that negative energy to your home, to your family, to my kids. So it was a time where you just are I felt like I was in a downward spiral. And it's so common when you feel like you have no control over something that you work so hard to develop, this career in medicine that took away so many years of your life. And all of a sudden it doesn't seem like it was all worth it.
wow. Yeah. Um, and so you're kind of in this downward spiral in your words. Maybe you started to think about coaching. How did you find us, and what were your thoughts going into the process?
I felt very thankful to find Gail and this whole entire MD Help school. And it was actually through a podcast that I listened to about burnout. And what really drew me to Gail is because a side interest of mine had always been meditation and mindfulness. And she had a really powerful take on this approach, using this approach and applying it to our field of medicine. And so the moment I heard the podcast, I immediately figured out how to reach out to Gail right away.
That's great to hear. Um, and so you went through, a concentrated, powerful period with my mom, Dr. Gazelle. What's different now, compared to where we were at the beginning? You talked about that downward spiral and feeling disenchanted with medicine and downtrodden. What's different now, and what are you able to do now that you weren't able to do before?
I think the biggest difference is that I feel now is my mindset is different. And Gail has given me the tools to always work on that mindset on a daily basis. And also with the understanding that it requires life's work. It's not going to be, nothing is an easy fix.
Right.
So all of the tools that she focuses on along the way really help you to realize, first of all, what's going on with your mind, your body, your life, and then to really take a step back and realize what's in your control, what's not, what's actually going well, but that you're not even able to see. So I think the negativity bias was very strong with me and many of my colleagues. That was one of the most valuable lessons. Also, I really treasure her exercises with me, where we worked on developing myself into the character I want to be, more courageous, someone with more clarity, um, and helping. Other exercises that I think of on a day to day basis are my future self. How my future self would now look back at me and talk to me, give me compassion, and help me to develop more and more self-compassion for myself for the journey that I'm on.
Yeah.
So altogether, it really helped me connect with my values using these tools that Gail worked on with me, and altogether really helped me to dig deep and to figure out what my next step will be in my career.
Yeah. That's very powerful stuff. And when you talk about, I'm thinking back to what you said earlier about how when you were in the downward spiral, it had an impact on how you showed up with your kids, with your family, with life outside of work. And so, with the mindset shifts that you've been able to make and the exercises that you talked me through, what's different about how you show up with your family now?
I think I, I think the biggest difference is I have a lot more self-compassion for myself, which of course shows in the way I interact with others more positively. And I I think it's having the positivity mindset and really grasping the moments that are positive here and there, and being and looking and not looking for the negative in every situation. I think that's really affected my day-to-day interaction with my kids, my family. Um, but also, I love how Gail always worked with me on writing my own script and like changing my character. Because if I was always going to do the same things and say the same things, things are always going to end up the same way.
Yeah.
So I really needed to take a step to be a different person, to be a stronger person, using all the values that I really could connect to
Wow.
and use the tools from there. So I'm
Wow.
very thankful for that.
Yeah. That's incredibly powerful. And the last question I have for today is, what would you tell someone who's watching this right now and is maybe in a similar position to you where you were 6 months ago and they're not sure about taking the next step?
I would encourage anyone who's in a similar position in the medical field to definitely reach out. This helps really do a good reset button, and which I think a lot of us need because it's a traumatizing time in our field and in the world in general, but especially given what we've sacrificed to make it here. And, just to determine your next steps in life and to make the most of every day because you don't want to lose time you don't want to lose time being unhappy every day. It's definitely helped me reclaim my life for sure.
Yeah. And like you said, you worked pretty hard to get here, years and years and years, and the debt and the stress and the I'll be happy when I'm in medical school, when I'm a resident, when I'm an attending. And it sounds like you did an amazing job over the last 6 months of claiming that happiness now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's been quite a journey, and I'm really thankful to all of you, the support groups, and specifically my coach, Gail, for sure.
Yeah. That's great to hear, Supriya, and really appreciate your time today.